In what is a surprise to absolutely no one, the liberal-leaning Wisconsin Supreme Court has just tossed out the legislative maps. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the chaos that is unfolding in the state of Wisconsin, because everyone, in what is a surprise to basically anyone with a brain, the Wisconsin Supreme Court has just tossed out the legislative maps. Yep, this isn't shocking, but it still is a disgrace how this unfolded. We went from a conservative-leaning court last year to, even this year, to this new progressive, it's really a progressive court at this point, where one of the justices ran on, the maps are rigged, the maps are rigged, the maps are rigged. And they toss out the maps. Listen, I don't care who you are. How this situation unfolded and you realize what they ruled on, it is a mess. But before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now, let me be clear. I understand that, some of the districts were drawn in a very weird fashion. I understand that. With that being said, to say that, the reasons that Republicans have big majorities is because it's gerrymandered, that's absurd. Even if you drew a map focused on compactness, all of that, it would still be a Republican-leaning legislator. Because that's how geography works. It's like Nevada when it comes to Democrats. Yeah, it's a gerrymander in Nevada's case, a clear one, by the way. But even if you drew a clean map, it would still be Democrat-leaning. Because that's geography. In Wisconsin, the votes don't all come from Madison and Milwaukee, despite what liberals on Twitter keep saying. Though it's like 20% of the vote and that's it. 80% of the vote comes from the rest of the state. It's a very rural state. And that's the big problem here. They ruled on this because, it's too Republican-leaning. Well, that's just how it goes. The geography of Wisconsin just sucks for Democrats. Scott Walker brought this up many times. All their votes are just packed in the two cities. That's their problem. I mean, 20 years ago, they didn't have that big of a problem, but now that they are an urban central party, that's what they get. This isn't some grand conspiracy. It's just geography. Geography is the main reason for this Republican majority. But let's just get into it, all right? The liberal-controlled Wisconsin Supreme Court overturned Republican-drawn legislative maps on Friday in order that new district boundary lines be drawn, siding with Democrats in a redistricting case that they hope will weaken GOP majorities. Unless they split Madison and Milwaukee into 15, 50 districts or whatever, Republicans are going to keep a big majority. Like, I don't think people understand how bad geography is in Wisconsin for Dems. Gee, your entire votes are all from 20% of the state? Yeah, I wonder why that you could barely get 30 seats in the assembly. It's not because of the GQP redistricting. It's just geography. The ruling comes less than a year before the 2024 election, a battleground state where 4 of the 6 past presidential elections have been decided by fewer than 23,000 votes. And Republicans have built large majorities in the legislature under maps they drew over a decade ago. Oh, good lord. CBS, stop it. The reason they got majorities is geography. It's like Nevada. Why is this so hard to comprehend? Listen, I'm not denying some of the maps, some of the districts, especially in Madison, which we'll get to in a second, look kind of ugly. But if you drew it kind of in a compact, no weird looking districts, it would still be Republican leaning. That's just how it goes. The court ruled 4-3 in favor of Democrats, who argue that the legislative maps are unconstitutional because districts drawn aren't contiguous, which, by the way, this is the whole stink with this case in particular. It was about, Republicans having a majority, but they keep talking about, well, the districts in Madison look weird because, they're not, connected. But people forget one thing. It's not the legislators' fault for this. Let me pull this up. So this is really the big stink, especially with Madison. Look at that map. It is hideous. I'll give them that. There's a lot of, missing parts, precincts, being other districts when they're inside a different one. But here's the thing they just seemingly just ignore, the left does. These districts have to be drawn like this because that's how borders for cities work, for townships, all of it. They annex other parts and it messes with precincts. And these cities, well, they don't fix it. They don't clean up the borders. And that's the problem. It's not the legislators' fault. I don't think they want the map to look like this, but it's the cities, townships, for not doing their damn job in preventing this. I mean, that's just how it goes in Wisconsin. The Constitution is very strict about, hey, you have to focus on keeping communities of interest together, all right? You can't just split Madison and Milwaukee 50 different ways. And well, with how the borders of Madison line up in a place like Sun Prairie, that's why you get these weird-looking districts. They can be cleaner, sure, but the legislator can only do so much. If these cities are not taking their job seriously, I don't know what to tell you. Again, I think it's ridiculous that they look like this, but if you even include those missing precincts here and there, like you cut the cities in half or whatever, it still would not be a Republican, minority. Republicans would still have a big majority. So you just start looking at this and you realize this is just garbage. This is just absolute baloney because of, funny enough, Democrat cities not doing their job, not giving a crap about this. But when the Republicans do it and they redistrict based on city lines, that's a big problem. It's it's a waste of time. It's like, really? You don't do your job, but then you blame the Republicans for it? When it's a 99% Democrat city? The lawsuit was filed a day after the court's majority flipped to a 4-3 liberal control in August, which should tell you everything. Protests say what's openly ran on, these maps are rigged and unfair, which, in my opinion, she should have recused herself. You cannot just say before a case, the maps are unfair, the Republicans rigged it, and then rule on these maps have to be redrawn. You're supposed to recuse yourself. When you already decided before the case even came forward, I think she knew about it beforehand, but either way, you're supposed to recuse yourself as a justice. You can't have a part, you're supposed to be impartial. I know you gotta pretend to be, but still at least try. Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, who had threatened impeachment the loudest, backed off on Wednesday and said even if she ruled in favor of throwing out the maps, impeachment was super unlikely. Well, because Vos understands that, just appeal it to the Supreme Court of the United States. You can do that first, and then if she does something absolutely ridiculous again, then use it. But I understand that Vos doesn't want to deal with, hey, this could potentially backfire. Let's not go down that route just yet. But this case is just dumb. This entire thing, it's stupid. And Democrats, they want all the lawmakers to stand for election under a new map, which, if you don't know, in the state Senate, half of them are in the midterm, the other half are during the presidential year. Instead of doing that like usual, They want the entire Senate have an election next year when they just got elected 2 years ago. Or I should say a year ago at this point. It's just a mess. This entire situation is why the Democrats are just delusional when it comes to redistricting. They don't understand the context of why some of the districts look like that. And, right, and this is a big part, it's their faults in their Democrat cities why the districts look like that. There's some outside of Madison, sure, but the vast majority of these districts that have problems are because of Democrats not doing their job. But either way, folks, let us hope that they don't bring in some special master where they draw Madison into 50 different ways. If they do that, the Dems could get a majority, but even if they slightly adjust the map, not by much, just, barely like, oh, if their whole argument is fix this, fix it then. Just fix these borders and be done with it. But if they go around and split Madison into 50 different ways, well, it just shows you they don't care about, these being contiguous or not. They don't. They don't care about them, these weird splats here and there within districts. They don't. They just care about getting a majority. But thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.